How to find a mentor. Hello, my friend. Today I will give my best attempt to give you a complete guide on finding a mentor. If you're watching this video, you likely have questions around mentoring. Maybe you're thinking of finding a mentor for yourself, or you have specific questions you're not quite sure where to find it, how to find it, and what to look out for. Today we will go through these different aspects, and because last time the whiteboard worked so well, we will do the same thing today. I will give you certain points, certain examples, and guide you through this topic. So by the end, you will know exactly where and how to find your mentor. So let's jump onto the whiteboard and let's start the session, shall we? All right, so the complete guide to find your mentor. We will we will look at the why, the what, the where, and the how. Why to find a mentor? Why do we bother about the first place? Why to watch this video? And also then we will talk about what is a mentor, what are some of the other definitions that people often mix up with mentoring, and where to find a mentor, and how to find a mentor. As another guide, I give you a simple way of remembering some of these things, which is the 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we will talk about the one thing, what 1 degree of change can make in a life. We're gonna talk about the 2 things, the only 2 things that drive personal growth. Then we will talk about the 3 things, the 3 type of people you want to have in your life, and then we will talk about the 4 things, the 4 different places where you can find a mentor. And after this, we will talk about several things to look out for and discuss a little bit about how to approach mentors. So this is the structure laid out, and let's jump onto the first part, is the why. It's always a good way to start with why, as Simon Sinek says, because once you understand the why, you have the motivation. So first of all, I want to ask the question from you. Why do you want to mentor? Why are you watching this video? Why are you thinking about having a mentor? And drop that into the comment section. For me personally, when I think about mentor, the very first person jumps into my mind is my brother. I grew up as an artist, and I can thank so much to my brother. I look at him as a mentor, and he was a mentor to me in many, many ways. As being the younger sibling, I looked up to him. He is 6.5 years older than me, and he was great in drawing and creating art with computers and with different medium, and people were praising him for it, and it looked really cool, and he could draw a lot of things, and I looked up to him so much. And especially when I started to get interested in computer art, 3D art, getting into that industry, he helped me immensely. He helped me so much that I remember I had an older computer. I downloaded a very basic 3D software, and my brother had many smaller jobs, and he gave me some of the smaller jobs just so I can help in. And because of that, I was able to actually start to work in the industry when I was 16 years old. So I had a huge head start of doing actual work, and he actually gave me some money for it, which was an an amazing experience. The other thing what he did for me is that he took me and brought into the company, so I got to know people in the industry. Another thing that I saw, and that's really important, I saw the attitude he had towards learning art. He had this, because at the time there were no information or very little information around how you do these kind of things. Not like today. Today, it, internet is flooded. You had to go to forums and figure out, and very often you didn't have the information, so you had to figure out on your own. And also at that time, computer art was very restrictive, so you had to be very precise and very meticulous with everything. So what I learned from his attitude is really that meticulous, relentless attitude, and to not stop till you figure things out. And this is really important when we talk about mentoring, because mentoring, big part of mentoring is modeling. Another thing I learned from him is how he negotiated prices and how he negotiated work. So when I went to my first job, I was fairly good. I mean, really good compared to being a person who starts out in his first job. I was really good in negotiating right out of the bat, and I negotiated really good salary, because that's what I saw. Very often our very first mentors who we don't really appreciate as mentors are our parents and our family, people who we grew up around. Now we might didn't learn the right things from them, but those people were our first mentors. Now later in my life I had many mentors, and I didn't think about mentorship up until my late 20s, early 30s, because it wasn't in the forefront of my mind at that time. And in a culture I grew up in, we didn't talk so much about mentoring. There were teachers, and I actually, no, that's not quite true, because the first time I came through mentoring is spirituality. When I was 16, 15, I was really big into Osho and spirituality, and that's where I got introduced into the whole guru, which is like interconnected to mentorship, as the guru is someone who gives you guidance and can guide you towards enlightenment. Now we will talk about that as well, but later on, when I really feel that I got a thorough understanding of mentoring and appreciated the place of mentors, coaches, teachers in my life. So we will talk about all of these things, and please write down in the comment section who mentored you. Who were your coach, your teacher, someone who really gave something significant to your life? I would love to read about it, hear about you. So that's the why, like that experience in a very early age of what my brother gave me, that somehow I feel I constantly want to pay back, and it feels so good. And later on I worked, and I'm still working with mentors, coaches, teachers, experts in different areas of my life. I really love mentoring. I do really well with mentoring, because one of the reason is that I'm really good with modeling after seeing, experiencing the way someone behaves and so on. And we will discover like what are the aspects of mentoring. So let me know, what is your why? Why do you interested in mentoring? Why are you thinking about getting a mentor for yourself? Now, moving on to the next part, let's talk about the what. Like what is mentoring? Now, the mentor is simply a teacher, advisor, someone who's been there, done that, who knows more about that topic and can share his or her experience. Now, we will talk a little bit how actually the the idea of what is a great mentoring goes beyond that. It goes beyond being an advisor. A great mentoring is not just an advisor. A great mentor is not just an advisor, but actually someone who knows how to bring out what's inside of you. The original meaning of teaching is actually not the way teaching is understood nowadays, because teaching nowadays is putting in. The teacher says and tries to put in the idea, and the whole education system is a putting in mentality. But the origin of teaching is actually drawing out. So we will see how a mentor's job, a great mentor's job, is not necessarily put in, but to draw out. And that's a huge distinction here. Now, mentor, the word comes from the mid 18th century, from French, which came from the Latin, which came from the Greek, and mentor was actually a character in Homer's Odyssey, which is an epic poem. And mentor was the advisor of the young Telemachus. Telemachus was the son of Odyssey, and also once Athena, the goddess of wisdom, took up the shape of mentor to help Telemachus. And because of that, later the Greeks started to use mentor as a metaphor for the advisor, the teacher, and that after that evolved into or brought from the Greek into the Latin, into the French, into the English. A lot of the English words came from the French and the Latin. So came into the English, and that's how we understand, or that's where the mentor definition came from. Now, there are other definitions I want to talk about here. First of all, mentor, we talked about that. A coach, coaching is something that stands really close to me, and the reason being because the way I got in connection and got passionate about coaching is the same way I got passionate about mentoring. The same way I had a mentor, my brother, and later on I had teachers and so on. I had a coach when I was around 30, and this person was a huge impact in my life. I loved the way this person was working with me so much that I decided to be a coach. And the big difference between the mainstream understanding of a mentor and a coach: a mentor is a put in, a coach is a draw out person. So a mentor often shares the experience, tells you what's the right course of action. A coach gonna know how to ask the right question and facilitate and direct you so you come up with the best solution for yourself. Now, I want to say that putting that aside or evolving from that, a great mentor is actually a great coach and plus a mentor. And also a coach often chooses to mentor. So coaches at the beginning might feel ashamed and want to restrict from mentoring, but there is a place for sharing advice, to be a mentor. There is a place to facilitate and be a coach and let the client to find the answers for themselves. Both are really useful. Now, next definition is the mentee or protege. Originally, The mentee as the word came much later, and protege was used, but mentee became, or coachee I could write here. That's because we were talking about coach, that's relevant here as well. Let's just write it there. So we are coachee, we are complete, right? Mentee, coachee, protege, they basically mean the same thing. So this person is the object of the mentoring, or the object of the coaching. That might not be the best way of saying, maybe the person who get mentored or the person who get coached, right? That's a much more pleasant way of saying that. Now, I want to talk about the expert and the guru because that will come up. An expert, well, there are different definitions of this. An expert is someone who knows a lot about a subject, and my definition, or the definition I like to use, is anyone is an expert in an area if that person, so to you, it's more a subjective definition. To you, someone can be an expert if that person is one or two or a few steps ahead of you, because that person can show the next step. Or you can be an expert to someone if you a few steps ahead, and that's really useful if you're afraid to step into the role of a teacher, a mentor, a coach. Now, a guru is someone who knows everything, right? Or who knows about everything. And, you know, I mean, you might have a different definition. You can write into the comment section. It comes from Eastern spiritual traditions, this expression. And what I want to share here with you is that in my opinion, right? This is my opinion. In my opinion, the guru, how would I say, the guru as a idea can be really useful or really detrimental as well. It depends. So again, if we talk about a guru as someone who is a teacher, who respects you, who sees you and wants the best for you, and acts like that, respecting yourself, that's the most amazing thing. And then, we can say this person is a mentor as well. But if we're talking about the guru as this godlike figure, not to put down any traditions, that's not my purpose. My purpose is to help people not fall into the cult trap. I've been there. So if we talk about the guru as someone who knows everything, and you should follow every single word they say, and you don't question and they don't let you question, then you have to be really careful, and you might be in a wrong place, listening to the wrong person, following the wrong person. And it don't have to be a spiritual person at all. Just look around on YouTube. Someone just having a charisma, someone just having really strong opinions and really strong ways of expressing that. We are hardwired to be drawn into this strong opinionated expression, this what people also call charisma, and we can find ourselves following someone who not necessarily want the best for ourselves, and not necessarily concerned by our well-being. So guru, if the guru genuinely respect your personal boundary and draws out instead of guiding you every step of the way, then it's a great thing. If that person doesn't respect you, and doesn't, you don't feel like your personal freedom and personal, how would I say, personal confidence and personal groundedness really grows, but you feel like you depend on this person, then you have to be really careful, and you might be in the wrong place. All right, so that's something I want to say to you. I want you to understand. Now, a quick word about the sponsorship or developmental style of approach. Now, as we go through this presentation, let me rewrite this. This is, I could just rewrite the kind of put in, and I appreciate this is not the best expression, but it I think it does justice if you understand or draw out, right? So it's really important to understand that this person only tries to give you the advice, or are you guilty in trying to trying to not take responsibility and not take your own best shot at things, but you're trying to depend on this person instead of trying to grow in yourself and fail as well, and grow, and this person just guiding you. So a good mentor or coach not necessarily going to tell you what to do, but going to ask questions and guide you so you find the answers yourself. Although there are times where advice is the best thing and very in place, all right? Just have to look out for the absolutes. Now let's move on to the one thing. You remember we talked about the one thing. So the one thing is the difference that 1 degree can make, 1 degree change makes. And think about it. I did not bother, I tell you honestly, I did not bother to write here up numbers, but follow along and you will understand the difference. So in navigation, there is a basic rule. The basic rule is a 1 in 60 rules, or 1 in 60 rule, which is that there is a 1 degree offset in every 60 miles, right? There is a 1 degree offset in every 60 miles. In a simple layman terms, if you divert your direction, your orientation 1 degree, the distance where you're gonna end up in your travel or at your destination will be exponential. So in this case, if this ship starts from here, right, and from Europe want to go to America, and if this ship off just 1 degree, this ship will end up in a completely different place. So think about this a little bit. In your life, if there is a person, or if it doesn't have to be a person, but we're talking in this context, if you have a mentor or a coach or someone who is helping you, if that person can make you a little bit of difference in 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the road, you might end up in a completely different place. So did you have maybe a teacher in school, someone who told you something very significant, or someone who really believed in you, or someone who didn't believe in you? That's like an anti-mentor, right? And because of that, you ended up in a completely different place. I know, like, when my wife was about to make a career choice, after art school, both of us went to art school. After art school, she went to the job center, And it's such a sad story. Uh, and in the job center, the women or the woman who served her told that you cannot get a job. It's just impossible that you're gonna earn money with this one, with art. And somehow that one sentence sunk in because she believed to this person as the authority in job. Think about it. If someone is in age 19 or 20, and at that time we all of us clueless around the word and job and what should we do, and there is the first absolute authority, you go for help and that person says it's impossible that you ever gonna get a job or money with this, with your passion, and you believe it, you end up in a completely different place. It's not an accident. We were classmates with my wife, and we went both on different path for 5 years after the school, and after 5 years through life magic we got in contact and got together. And I was working in art mainly because my brothers help and mentoring, and she ended up working in in a in a shop, um, and as a like vendor, someone who sells in stuff in a general shop. Not like there is any problem with that. And she had really tough life, of course. So life is how life it is. It's unpredictable, and it's just interesting how one degree can make 1 degree difference can make years down the line. So that's one reason why mentoring coaching can be one of the most important life-changing thing that can happen with someone. And of course, and as we got together, we learned from each other, and she got back to art. She found through years and years and years her way into art through nail art, and she tried out many different art and got into tattooing, which is like she is amazing in it, and and she loves it. And that's another 1 degree of change that over years got her back, and she loves it and earns really well. And that lady was absolutely wrong. So that's what 1 degree of change can make in one's life. So we talked about the one. Let's talk about the two. The only two things you need to grow. And this was and is this was a revelation when I heard it. You need two things. One is awareness, the second is responsibility. These are the only two things you ever need in your life to grow. Why? Awareness. I wrote there knowledge because, knowledge, things you can learn. If you know things, you can do things. If you have skills, you can do things with that skills. But also awareness. And this is really important because sometimes we know things, and sometimes knowing things just increases our ignorance. As they say, the more we know, the bigger our ignorance. The more territory we know, the less, I don't know exactly how the quote is, but you understand the idea that the more we know, the more we believe we know, the less we want to explore. And that's where awareness is really important, because developing awareness is also becoming aware the things we hasn't been aware of. So things that got to us to the point where we are right now, not gonna take us to the point we want to get, because we need to do something different. We have to become a new person. We have to develop a new kind of awareness. And for that, now the truth is that we human beings are a compilation of our perspective, which is full of biases and so on, and we have things we don't see. We cannot see our own eyeball, we cannot bite our own teeth, which means that we cannot know what we don't know. What we don't know, we simply don't know. And here where a coach can be really helpful, and I'm saying coach because that's more the draw out approach, where a coach asks questions and help you discover the things that you don't see and help you commit to the change, and by doing that change you grow and improve your life. Now the second point is responsibility and commitment. How many of you tried to lose weight? I know I tried myself. I tried out everything, not every single diet, but like the most stupid and not so stupid, more sensible diets as well. But I failed many times in losing weight, and the reason being, and the reason many people don't succeed in losing weight are two things. One, they don't have the right knowledge. Maybe they have the wrong knowledge because there are so many misinformation out there. But also the other thing, they don't have the commitment. They try it out for 1 week, they try out a 10 days fat losing program or something really stupid like that, which I did myself as well, so not to point any fingers. Or they try out a couple of months, but they don't stick to one thing. They don't have a structure, they don't have a program to follow, and because of that there is no commitment, there is no skin in the game, and they just fall short. So where a mentor, a coach, a teacher comes really handy is creating the container of responsibility and commitment. This is the scene in the movies when the teacher doesn't let the disciple into the palace, into the temple, the whatever, until the disciple sits in the rain a week outside, and after that the master lets in. There is a test of commitment. The disciple needs this. The disciple needs this because otherwise the disciple wouldn't learn. Okay, so we talked about the two things you need to grow. Now we're gonna talk about the three type of people you need in your life. The three type of peoples are the plus, the minuses, and the equals. You need the mentors, people who you can learn from, people who've been there, and you can reach the same result quicker, better than without them. People you can learn from. You also need mentees, proteges, people you teach. So you need people who you inspire by, role models, mentors, these kind of people. But you need the opposite of the spectrum, the minus, people you are mentor to, people you teach, because the best way you can learn is by you teaching. Now the third type of people you need are the peers, people who walk alongside of you. Those are the peers, and you need that as well, people who you can turn to, who are on the same path. And very often these peers become your pluses or minuses as well as certain parts of your journey. And I want to end this video here. I want to make this into a two-part series because I recognize and appreciate the time we spent so far, and I figured it will be a really good idea to have a break, or to like give real justice to the second part as well, and instead of bring or dragging this video out too much. Let's make this two series. So jump onto the next series as soon as it's up. You will find it here. And if you gained any value out of this video, there are a couple of things I want to ask from you. Share this video with others because it might be helpful to someone. Give me a feedback, give a like or a dislike, and a comment what you liked, what you didn't like. Also, if you have any questions, so we can have a conversation here. And also subscribe and hit the bell notification so you get more of these information, and jump on to the next video. Remember, you are innately whole, and see you right in the next video.